Scotty, Stitching Scotty, and this is Winston, one of my Scotties, and welcome to Flosstube number 224. Today is Friday, June the 27th, and we'd just like to welcome you, and stay cool is all we have to say. Yes, it's been very hot here. We came up to the mountains to cool off because it's been into the hundreds where we live on my porch, according to my thermometer, even though the other thermometers say 98, 99. It's hot. But anyway, we're in the mountains and it's only about 80 something degrees. Yay, but we're still warm. And of course, Striker's bored. He's ready for his treat now. But he just wanted to say hello, and he wants to say happy birthday to Miss Dolores. Tomorrow's her birthday, June the 28th, and she's at the beach as usual during the summer. It's hard to catch up with her. She does go a lot, but I'm glad she does. And I just want to say hello, Dolores. We miss you. Okay, so we want to talk about our book of days. I've really stickered it up this time because I've been to StitchCon. I've got my Keepsakes sticker here. I've got StitchCon 2025, Cincinnati, 16 miles. Then I've got my other StitchCon sticker, the Stitchy Bus. I've got another Keepsakes. I've got my Camping and Stitching sticker from last year, but it's because I went and saw some vintage campers, and another StitchCon sticker. And then we have 310, the cat. Yes. Barbara doesn't let him come in the shop when StitchCon's going on because she's afraid he might get loose or something, you know, get out and get run over. But yeah, but I've done a lot of stitching. I've stitched every day this month. It may not have been much, but I've stitched every day. And I've had, well, we'll talk about how many finishes and things I've had next week when I do my wrap-up. But I have met my WhipGo goals. So we'll talk about that. But we have a lot to show, and don't forget to stay tuned. There is a Keepsakes shop tour at the end of this video. It's been a couple of weeks, and I've gotten some stitching done, and 4 finishes, 1 FFO, and some new starts, of course, that I'd like to show. Also, I have a Keepsakes tour, shop tour, and from StitchCon, and I have my WhipGo update, and a freebie for the 4th of July. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, let's start with my finishes. Okay, my first finish is for my hashtag Lizzie Kate Series Sal and the hashtag some Cross Stitch Camp 2025 Sal with Colorado Cross Stitcher, and Jen Quilter is the Lizzie Kate Series Sal. And this is my let me hold it in front of my face. This is my pattern. It's a Lizzie Kate. It's called A Little Beach, and it's on, I bought the kit a long time ago, and it's on natural raw linen, and the kit included the charms, but beads, and the linen. And this is my finish. It was a StitchCon finish. Well, no, it was almost a StitchCon finish. It would have been my 3rd. I really enjoyed doing this one. I used Weeks Dye Works and some DMC, but I think it's very, very cute. I like the little seahorse. And it only used counted cross stitch. And at the bottom, that's my beads that were included, and the little starfish charm. But it's so cute. And this is on 28 count natural raw linen. So that was a finish, but it wasn't a StitchCon finish. It almost was. Okay, and then my next one's not ironed because I just now found it. I've just been losing things left and right. It's from Primrose Cottage Stitches, and it was the like an extra that we had. And I'm going to show you the picture. There's the picture. It's established 1776. I didn't want to show you the graph. And this was in the Primrose Cottage box, the Sip and Stitch. And this one is on a piece of fabric flare. It's, well, that's a good question. It's probably 28 count. Yes, it's 28 count fabric flare. And this is what I've got done. It's my little finish, and you can't hardly see the stars, but they show up quite well. And I was hoping to get it made into a tart pan, but I didn't get that done. But I think it's beautiful. And I substituted colors because I did not have well, no, I didn't substitute colors. This one is DMC. Usually if they use color and cotton, I have to substitute because I don't have it. And I used 2 strands over 2. And this was just a really quick one. I could have done it in a day, but I had to do some visiting and stuff, you know. You know how you have to do at StitchCon. It's always so much fun. Okay, so those were 2 of my finishes, and that was a StitchCon start and a finish. Then I also did, I've been working on, for my WhipGo, it was Halloween, and out of the Teresa Kogut Celebrate book, which there's no picture of the finished design, I just found a piece of linen in my stash, and I don't even know what color it was, and this is called Bad Kitty. And it was a finish, and I was able to ring the bell at StitchCon with that one also. So I just thought that was just so cute. That cat and the witch's skirt, they just drew me in, but it just looks really spooky. And once I got her skirt done, the rest of the piece just went really quick. There's a couple of mistakes in it, but that's okay. I like it, and I can't wait to get it framed. So, and it's 28 count. Yeah, it's 28 count, and I'm using all the call for DMCs. It's just really, and I think it's DMCs, yes. It's really, no, I had some Weeks Dye Works, because this was Onyx. No, this was Caper, and this was Onyx, so it's all Weeks Dye Works. That's what it was. So, very, very cute. Love those jack-o'-lanterns too. So that was fun, and I'm glad that it's finished because I can now cut it down to size and get some use out of some of the other fabric. So that was good. So those were my finishes. I also had another finish and an FFO, and that was called Stitching Friends, and it's by Boulder Valley Stitches. And of course I forgot it at home. I put it on our table because it said best retreat table ever. And if you watch my StitchCon video, you actually saw it, but I'm going to insert a picture here. Okay, I still don't have the trim on it. I may do trim and I may not. But anyway, I stitched it on a piece of 32 count fabric I had in my stash. And yeah, just some color and cotton, no, Forbidden Fiber Co. threads that Cheryl, my friend, my stitching friend, gave me. And she also gifted me the pattern at Stitch West. It was so much fun to do that. And I just wanted to make sure I got it done in time. And you know, the funny thing is when we got to StitchCon, the table next to us, they had done the same piece, but it looked totally different. So there you go. All right. So now let's see what I have. Okay, let's talk about my works in progress. Okay, I have one work in progress that I've been working on, and it was for my StitchCon for the Patriotic, and it's out of the book Sweet Land of Liberty by Blackbird Designs, and it's this one right here. Isn't that pretty? Okay, it doesn't look like I got a lot, but the house was kind of big, And my days can be anywhere from an hour to all day. It just depends. And there weren't any all days to be had because I had to get ready for StitchCon and make my gifts and pack and travel and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I did this on a piece of, and I would just about say this is Weeks Dye Works. It's Confederate Gray. And this is what I've got done so far. And I've stitched on it probably about 4 or 5 times. And that was basically all the stitching I got done. So I've got part of the eagle done, and I've got all the house done. So I was really excited about that. And it's 2 strands over 2 of all the call for threads, and I think they're all Gentle Arts. But it's so, so pretty, and I hope to continue to stitch on this one. I'd like to have it finished by the end of July if possible. So, okay, and then next, I have some new starts. That was my one whip that was not a new start. Okay, my next new start is America, and it's my Home Sweet Home. I started this one right after I got home from StitchCon. I was planning to do it at StitchCon, and this is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Let me move it in front of my face so it will focus on it. Isn't that beautiful? And it came in the same stitchy box that the 1776 came in. And there's also another chart, God Bless America, which I hope to start soon. But I thought these colors were just beautiful. They're all DMCs, and there's only like 10 colors of floss. And the floss came also in these beautiful little floss drops. They're red, white, and blue stars. And I've got all my thread all on here and lined up, and it actually looks neat. Yay! I couldn't believe it. And I'm using 2 strands over 2, and I'm also on the fabric flare with this one. Let me hold this up. And this is my start. I got one little house and part of the flag done. And it's 2 strands over 2. I think it's so cute. I really like that. So I'm going to continue to stitch on that. I mean, it's really neat. I hadn't stitched on fabric flare in a while. It's a thicker fabric, and but I do like it. I really do. It's just a really neat fabric. Okay. Then my next start it's a stitch along that I'm doing with Cheryl. We still haven't figured out what to name it, but I think we'll have a name after tomorrow, so I'll announce the name of the stitch along next week. But this is Vlad's Wash Day. This pattern is very hard to get, and Cheryl was nice enough to find a copy and buy it for me. I was so excited. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You're the best. We both have just enabled each other on these Raise the Roof patterns because they are so cute. They've got all different holidays and everything, and this was one that I just didn't have. And I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count. It's like a gray even weave, and I've got the post of the clothesline, a bat, and a little bit of the wire from the clothesline right here. So, and that's the clothesline wire, and there's the bat. And that's all I've got done on my start. So I'm looking forward to working on this one too. And it's 2 strands over 2. But yeah, that's my stitching right now. I really, really am enjoying stitching on that. It's just a lot of fun, and it goes really quick, so that's good too. Okay, now next I have, I got to tell you about my WhipGo, where did I put it? And my StitchCon board looks like this. I'm doing pretty good. This 4 days is really helping me get a lot done. just stitching on something 4 days. I've had a lot of finishes. I think I've had like 19 finishes so far this year. Yay! I'm sure I've probably had about that many starts too. I hadn't counted. But anyway, so I filled in number 23 and 21. 21 was Halloween stitching with Bad Kitty. And then there was another one I worked on too. And 23 was American Eagle. So I was able to get that done also. So yay! All right, so next month, for next month, Jessie Marie does stuff. She facilitates WhipGo 2025, draws the numbers on the 25th, and she drew number 2, which is a holiday stitch for me, so I can stitch any holiday. So what I chose was Thanksgiving, because I do need more Thanksgiving things. And the thing I chose, or the piece I chose, was Coming to America, The Women of the Mayflower by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread, because mine has been run aground for quite some time. And this, this is the picture. I got it when it first originally came out. I got the entire kit, the box, and I got it for 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. It uses DMC, Week Style Works, Gentle Arts, and Classic Color Works. And this is what I've got so far. This will be my start. I've got down to Cape Cod, and I've got some of the border past that. I started out on these seagulls, and that just really did it for me. But after I got down to the ship and stuff, it's starting to get a little bit better. Now there's some back stitching I haven't done. I think there's back stitching on the mast and things. But when I get Cape Cod filled in, I'll be able to take off and do something different. So I'm excited to stitch about 4 days on this. And who knows, I may have a finish. Never can tell. But it's 1 strand over 2 threads. But I just really, really love this. And it's just a lot of fun. I love Brenda Gervais patterns, and I did not iron because it's hotter than you know what here, even up in the mountains. It's in the 80s, excuse me, and the humidity is horrible. When I started the Flosstube, I had to use a fan to cool off because sweat was running down my face. Yeah, it's that warm. So, but hopefully I'll get some good stitching done on that. Now the next one, you can really tell I've not ironed. Oh my goodness, it's kind of crinkled. I didn't know I'd stuffed it in there so far. But the next one is number 16, and I put that I wanted to stitch on a biscornu because I am supposed to be doing a biscornu sale with some of my friends from Stitch, Florida, and I just kind of started it and then nothing. And I think they've all finished theirs. So, I'm coming, just slow. But anyway, the one I chose was from Barbara Anna Designs, and it's called Boot Scornu. And it's got the witch's boots and the little ghosts and things. And I got one of the ghosts started, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. And this is on 32 count. Oh, goodness. It's that green that's so popular. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, I don't know right offhand. But anyway, I'll tell you more in the month. But I'm using 2 strands over 2. And look at my big, big start. Yeah, I need to be working on that. But I won't be starting on it until July the 1st, which is Tuesday, I think. Or maybe it's Tuesday, I think. But anyway, it's 2 strands over 2, and hopefully I'll at least have 4 ghosts. And I did label T for top here. So that way, because it's symmetrical, I will not get it upside down or sideways and have wonky stitches. And then hopefully I'll have 2 more crossed off, because I think 4 days I'll finish that one. Yeah, and biscornus are easy to put together. I really enjoy doing those. You just have to count really well. Okay, so we've got a little bit of stitching done, so that's good. And I got more stitching done at StitchCon than I thought I would, which was good. Okay, now it's time for the free pattern. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the free pattern, and then I'm going to show the featured Etsy shop, which today is Lotus Lake Stitching. Our free pattern is by Romy's Creations. It's a patriotic pattern, and it's called Remember Me. I just love technology. And I'm just going to show you a picture of the pattern. It's on her Instagram, and you'll probably see it about in her Memorial Day post. But isn't that pretty? It's really, really pretty. So I think you'll enjoy that. And instead of putting Remember Me, you could put Happy 4th or Happy 4th of July, or just July, you know. So I think it's very nice. She's always so nice to give us so many pretty patterns, so that's always good. Okay, and after the Lotus Lake Stitching Etsy shop, featured Etsy shop, we're going to have the Keepsakes shop tour, so be sure and stay tuned, because it's really, really wonderful. There we go. I'm telling you. Goodness. Okay, now all these charts are PDFs, but she's having a sale, and her sale ends in 2 days. And today's Friday, so her sale ends Sunday night. And hopefully you'll be able to get some things. I think they're 50% off, so that's great. This one's called Happy Halloween. You can make a bunch of scissor fobs or a bunch of smalls, or you know, just do the whole thing, or even parts of it. It's really pretty and spooky. The next one is 4th of July, and it's also 50% off. Isn't that pretty? Look at that village. So, so pretty. I love those colors. Then we have a cross-stitch Christmas house. This is, it's got the reindeer, snowman, a cardinal, all the things that remind you of Christmas. All right, then we have another 4th of July pattern that's also 50% off. Isn't that pretty? Then we have a Quaker. It's a monochrome Quaker. And you could do this in any color, but I think that is just beautiful. And then we have the sheep. It's a cross-stitch house and sheep. It's also 50% off, just like the Quaker and everything else, for the next 2 days. Remember, today's June 27th, so it'll be on sale till the 29th. Then we have cross-stitch sampler with a large flag. And that is a big flag. So pretty. I like the border too. Then my favorite is the cross-stitch house calendar. Now you could do these individually as little mini pillows or all together. Isn't that pretty? She's got a lot more nice patterns. She's rated 5-star, so she has good service. And if you get a chance, go over in the next day or so and get you some 50% off patterns, okay? All right, and now we're gonna have the Keepsakes tour and shop tour, and I hope you see something that you really can't live without. I tried to do as much as I could, but I missed a couple of things because it was quite crowded, and I didn't want to interrupt the shopping. But I just always have the most fun when I go to Keepsakes and shop. It's just wonderful. And the staff there is just amazing. And I just really appreciate Barbara and her staff, and Stephanie, you know, also for all they do so we can have StitchCon and we can go shop, because it's a lot of work. But they seem to enjoy it, and we enjoy it also. I'm ready to go again. But anyway, until next week, happy stitching, and remember, if you don't start the things, you can't finish them. So stitch all the things. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, I'm Dottie Stitching Scotty, and this is my Scotty Winston. It's a hot day and he just wants to just relax and stay cool. But, oh shoot,